India's pharmaceutical industry is undergoing an aggressive regulatory purge. Good manufacturing practice, or GMP, has become the final gatekeeper for survival. Compliance is the only way to keep the lights on. India provides a massive volume of the world's affordable medicine, but the country is facing intense pressure from global health authorities to eliminate substandard manufacturing. The driver of this shift is the end of the 2005 ScheduleM regulations. In their place, the government has enforced the revised ScheduleM ecosystem. This mandate from the domestic government forces the industry to abandon paper-based reactive habits. Manufacturers must adopt a risk-proof digital production model. This transition acts as an evolutionary filter. Only manufacturers who completely overhaul their operations to meet these global benchmarks will be allowed to stay in business. To stay in business, facilities must integrate 5 technical pillars. The first is the mandatory implementation of a pharmaceutical quality system, or PQS. A PQS is a structured framework that manages quality from initial development through a product's entire life cycle. This shifts the burden of quality to senior management, making leadership legally accountable for every batch produced. The second pillar is quality risk management, or QRM. This requires factories to proactively predict errors instead of trying to fix them after they happen. QRM requires facilities to use scientific data to identify and neutralize contamination or process risks before a single pill is ever manufactured. These first 2 pillars embed quality into the company's daily operations, moving away from a culture that only tests for defects at the end of the assembly line. The third pillar is the Product Quality Review, or PQR. This mandates a continuous, data-driven annual audit to verify the consistency of every single batch produced. Next comes qualification and validation. Verifying equipment requires a continuous stress test of machinery and utilities under worst-case production scenarios. The 5th pillar tackles computerized systems and data integrity. By enforcing the Alcoa Plus principles, regulators have effectively ended the use of manual paper logs. Alcoa Plus requires every digital action in the factory to be attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, and accurate. These uneditable digital audit trails are designed to prevent the retrospective recording or falsification of data that triggered major quality crises in the past. Together, these final 3 pillars transform a manufacturing plant into a repository of indisputable, verifiable data. The timeline to implement these systems is tight. While large pharmaceutical companies complied by mid-2024, smaller enterprises face a hard, non-negotiable deadline of December 31, 2025. The economic reality is stark. Over 60% of India's 8,500 smaller manufacturing units are at risk of shutting down, because meeting these requirements requires massive capital investment. To help, the government launched the RPTUAS scheme. This program provides capital subsidies for mandatory technological and infrastructure upgrades, but the funding is constricted. While many factories have been approved for the scheme, the actual delivery of funds is dangerously slow. The regulatory clock continues to tick. Without immediate capital, the December 2025 deadline will force thousands of manufacturers out of the market. Enforcement is already underway. Central and state drug authorities are conducting joint audits, benchmarked strictly against global standards, and they are not accepting excuses for delays. Failing an audit leads to immediate penalties. Authorities are issuing license suspensions, ordering market recalls, and permanently closing non-compliant plants. The data shows the scale of the challenge. In the manufacturing hub of Himachal Pradesh, only 11% of pharma units are currently fully compliant with the new standards. While many struggle, the surviving companies are using these rules to consolidate power and secure their positions in the global supply chain. This regulatory purge is a painful transition for the industry, but it is the necessary crucible to elevate India from a low-cost provider to the gold standard leader in global medicine.